Happy Earth Day!
Are you
So,
willing to have gratitude for all of life and celebrate the
exactly.
earth today or this
Yay.
evening? It's nighttime in Australia, but hey, the rest of the world is still awake.
Well, I am just about waking up. Look, it's dark outside still. And with you, Viv, it's already dark. So,
It's
we are covering Earth Day literally beginning to end because yours is ending, mine is starting. How does it get any better than this? So, yes, welcome to Earth Day gratitude.
So I went for a walk this morning, and one of the things I love doing is getting my feet on the earth. I don't care if it's on dirt, on sand, on grass, on gravel. There is just an absolute glee that my body has when it physically connects with the earth. And I don't mind whether it's the middle of winter, even if it's only just, for a couple of minutes if it's really cold. There's just something really amazing when your body, and it can be your hands, you can lay down on the earth. It doesn't have to be your feet, but I love saying good morning to the earth when I take the dog for a walk. And it's like I put my tendrils down into the earth and then connect with the earth and then pull that energy back up through my body. And it's just this incredible space that it creates and a relaxation and a peace in my body to begin my day. So that's just something that I love to do. And today I was even more celebratory because it's Earth Day, and I'm hoping more people around the world are being grateful for this incredible planet that we get to play with and live on.
Yeah. And, it's really interesting because for many, many years, it has been always the gloom and doom conversation that a lot of people have had about what all is wrong and what we have to fix and what is going,
Mm.
to explode on itself or basically into our faces. And I think the conversation has been changing a little bit to what else is possible, which I'm so grateful for because the really interesting part that I know is that there are so many things out there that we could actually change right now that would change everything. And and that's the part that a lot of people forget. We have a lot of the things that we are stuck with already. We have solutions to them, and those are workable things, but they're not being used. And so what if we all really started to be a bit more proactive in the way that we can do things? And the interesting thing is, guys, please remember, you have the power, because you know what the power is? The money. So where are you spending your money? Okay, this is really important, and this is such an easy change to make. What products are you buying? Who are you supporting when you put your money out there? What gas station are you stopping at? And if you switch from convenience to where am I spending my money and is that a contribution to the earth, we all are going to make a huge difference, okay? And that will have an impact. So please don't forget this part, where am I spending my money today? So who am I supporting with the dollar I'm spending, or whatever currency you're spending? And this just as a little reminder, because a lot of times I would feel really helpless because I thought, I really, as a person, I don't have a lot of power, which is also a lie. You have a huge amount of power, and what you choose and how you live your life makes a huge impact also. But the other part is actually your money. Your money has a huge impact. So please, just as an inspiration and not as a lecture, just an idea. And truly, there are so many things that we can do today that will make a huge difference. So please, please, please remember that, because you do count. You count. Everything you do counts for the greater future. So, what future would you like to create?
Yeah, and to quote a very dear friend of ours, and I'm sure many of our viewers will be aware of this gentleman, Gary Douglas, who is the founder of Access Consciousness. And he talks about, you want to do your bit for the planet, you want to heal the planet, laugh more, find joy, find joy in the crazy things. And one thing I really, really appreciate about Gary is his irreverence, because we tend to make things so significant and serious and meaningful, and we get all emotionally churned up in what's good or bad or right or wrong, you know, with the earth and what we're doing with the earth and its resources, etc. It's like, lighten up. You know, yes, we can be aware of what's occurring on the planet, but our heaviness and our grief and sadness and emotional turmoil does not contribute to change. It's our lightness. And truly, when we're being the gift of us, we do have a lightness to our being. You know, when we're having fun, when we're doing what brings us and our body joy, that is one of the greatest gifts you can give to the planet. And, you know, he also says the planet doesn't actually need saving. You know, it's like we can contribute. Absolutely, we can contribute so much different possibility on this earth. And really, that is one of the greatest and simplest things that you can choose on a daily basis. You know, what can you laugh at today? Who can you be with that you can laugh with? You know, what is it that you can find irreverence in, where everybody makes things really significant? Yeah.
And with that, actually, so right now, like, what if we actually all tuned into this beautiful rock named Uluru in Australia? So this particular rock, oh, it's giving me goosebumps just thinking about it. This particular rock is over 500 million years old, and it is one of the places on the earth that has been sacred for a very, very long time. But also the interesting thing is this particular rock has no fossils. So it was created and it was basically formed before life on Earth, which I find is also a very interesting fact. But this rock has been sitting there in the middle of the desert for a very, very long time. And people have really been living around it, but also celebrating it and celebrating life around it for a very long time. But this energy that the rock is being for us, and you might think, well, what does that mean? Like, what if it didn't mean anything? And what if it wasn't significant? It's just that this rock has such a energy of peace and space and bliss. And so, you know, we can use things like that for our own lives. So what if we all just actually tuned into that rock? Well, how do you do that? Just, you know, relax for a moment. Either close your eyes, keep them open, doesn't matter, but relax your body. Allow your body to not have to do anything right this moment. So, you know, if you can stop just now, whatever you're doing, and just allow your body to relax for a moment. And then just imagine pulling energy through that rock and through your body. So start an energetic flow that actually goes through the rock and pulls the energy off the rock through your body. And just keep pulling that energy from that rock. And receive it in every pore of your body. And then let it actually expand the space between the molecules. Our bodies are lots and lots and lots of space. Let the rock be a contribution to even more space. Let the energy of the rock be the space between the molecules. And let everything dissipate that is not relevant. Any thoughts, feelings and emotions you're holding on to. They may not be as relevant. Just look at your life 5 years from now. 50 years from now. 500 million years from now. Is this still relevant? This thing that's nagging? Or can it just be gone? And then you, the being, can expand. You are bigger than your body. Expand. Allow yourself to be as big as the universe. And allow your body still to receive from Uluru. You can do all that in simultaneity. What else is truly possible if we're willing to receive from this beautiful planet of ours? And what could you pick every day to get a sense of a connection, a sense of expansion, a sense of joy, a sense of laughter, a sense of lightness? Like Viv enjoys walking barefoot, what do you enjoy? What could you add to your daily routine that will create this connection? Anything is possible. You just have to choose it.
Thank you, Susie. I just want to add, for those of you that are curious about Uluru, when we call it the rock, to give you an idea, it's 10.5 kilometers around the base of the rock. So it's affectionately called the rock, but it isn't a rock how your brain may perceive a rock. It took Susie and I about 3.25 hours, 3 hours to
I
walk
think it was longer, but who was counting?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And even just looking at a photograph of it, but it doesn't have to necessarily be there. It could be anything that you choose to look at today that is surrounding you in nature. A tree, a bush, a flower, an ant, an insect, a bird, anything that gives you that sense of space and connection.
Yeah. Truly, truly, truly. And, and the importance of many things in our lives. What if we really could a lot of times just insert space and see what happens? Really, truly, so many things that we are truly struggling with, and that we see as insurmountable could actually really change their energy when we're willing to insert some space here. And so, just with this little exercise, it's not hard to insert space, and it can give you a different sense of what's going on. And, you just have to allow it. So many times we're holding on to something, but it can really change, and once you have some space inserted into a problem, it really does change. I have had this so many times where I literally was like, what was I upset about? I couldn't even go back there, it would be gone. And I'd be like, wow, it's completely gone. How could it be gone? Well, when things totally disappear, they were based on some lie, on some, and most upset is based on some emotional lie that we're holding on to that oftentimes has nothing to do with the upset itself. It's something that we experienced in our lives, or whatever it might have been, that we're now lumping together with the current upset. But when we actually allow ourselves to have some space with it, all of a sudden it's like, what was that? It's gone, So, and I'm not saying your problems are insignificant. I am just saying maybe play with the energy and see what part of it is actually relevant, what part of it is actually important. And you might really, with just an exercise like this, allow yourself to see what's not.
Yeah, that space melts any solidity that we've artificially created, and it is an artificial creation. It's, if you tap into your being, is your being truly lightness and space and playfulness? Even if it's been a long time since you've sensed that, is that truly who you are? And everything Susie's tapping into and talking about and inviting you to just melt anything that we have solidified, the points of view, anything we've made significant or relevant, the story that we like to hold on to. So one thing Gary commented on in regards to Uluru, he said, like the rocks between 500 and 650 million years old. Put that into perspective with, your big toe that's hurting right now. And again, not to make it, not to make it irrelevant to you, or to dismiss it, but it just gives you a different possibility to be with that situation in a very different space, if you choose.
Yep.
And what contribution can that be to the earth? Does the earth have a point of view if it's a 40-degree day, or if it's pouring with rain, or if it's snowing? Does the earth have a point of view? Does it have a point of view if it's windy, or if it's a beautiful day? Or does it just receive everything exactly as it is and receive the contribution of each of those elements?
Yep.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm looking at the people in the chat, and I would suggest that maybe most of you are at the beginning of your day. I'm just about to head to bed. So what part of the earth could you reach out and touch today and receive from? Yeah. Thank you, Susie.
Thank you, Viv, and thank you all for being here. And please also know Viv and I do very pragmatic talks every now and again about animals, and so keep on tuning in. Subscribe to whatever channel you're on right now if you like this. We are meeting and getting together quite often, and so if you would like to keep playing with us, then please do.
Thank you, everybody. Have an awesome day wherever you are on this amazing earth. Thank you, my friend Susie.
Thank you, Viv, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye, everybody.